Hey, what's up, guys? Shuckle King here, bringing you my Week 5 team builder and battle versus Adam. Currently, I am 2-2 after a 2-game winning streak, and hopefully we can get over 500 after this game and solidify 4th place in our conference, even if we win. And if either of the top 3 seeds lose, I believe we're still in 4th place, but we would pretty much solidify that position because the teams 5 through 8 would all be like at least 1 game behind me. So that'd be great if that were to happen after this game, but we'll see. Adam's team from most to least threatening is Tapifini, Diggersby, Bronzong, Kangaskhan, Nidoqueen, Infernape, Shaman, Noivern, Sneasel, Lycanroc Dust, and Oricorio. Not a lot of things that extremely threaten me, but he has a lot of mons that he could definitely bring in this matchup. Finny is pretty annoying. Like, it can take hits from landers and make a low punting kill him back in return. I have Hydreigon, so it's like kind of a tough bring to have versus Tapu Fini. It's fairly fast, can Calm Mind, and I can't really status to wear it down. So Finny will be annoying for sure. Diggersby, very strong. So if he's Choice Scarfed, it wouldn't be as problematic, actually. He would still be able to revenge kill me pretty well. I believe Mega Lopunny still adds speed, Adamant Diggersby, if he's Scarfed, but I'm more concerned about a Life Orb or a Choice Bandit set because that can get through my Skarmory because he can have Wild Charge, and I really don't have anything else to take a hit from it. Now, I can revenge kill pretty easily with Landorus or Mega Lopunny, Hydreigon. They should all be able to revenge kill, but with that, I would have to sacrifice something to this Diggersby, essentially. So that's going to be problematic, and I don't really want to sacrifice my Skarmory to Diggersby because he does have a Mega Kangaskhan, which will be pretty problematic if I lose my Skarmory because Skarmory is such a good answer to it normally. Now, outside of it, I'll have a little bit of trouble taking hits from, but at least Landers outspeeds and kills and takes a +2 Sucker Punch, and Mega Lopunny does the same. So Kangaskhan's not like the top threat, but still pretty annoying. Bronzong's up there just because it takes on Landers and Mega Lopunny. Everything else, Nidoqueen, Infernape, they all have their uses for sure. Infernape's just strong and has a lot of versatility there, especially with Zeev move access. I believe it has Zeev move access. Yes, it does. Shaman's just bulky and can take Landers hits unless if I have Sludge Wave, which I do, and takes on Mega Lopunny if he's physically defensive. Noivern's just fast, outspeeds everything but Mega Lopunny. Sneasel, priority to kill Landorus would definitely be an issue. Lycanroc Dusk, another fast mon, but I have things that add speed it and should be able to kill it before Lycanroc kills me. Oricorio can be any of the 4 forms, so it's kind of hard to prep for. I just have to assume that it's not going to do too much in the game. So my team, as we can see here, first thing I have is Gravity Landorus. If I get a Gravity up, he really doesn't have a switch-in to Earth Power whatsoever. His only switch-ins are Shaman, and that's it. That's the only mon that resists Earth Power on his team if I have a Gravity up. And then I do have Sludge Wave for that. And Sludge Wave also hits Tapu Fini harder. Rock Polish is the last move. I could maybe sweep late game with it. I don't really expect to click it. I just expect to click Sludge Wave or Earth Power and basically get a kill. You don't have a lot of special defensive mons that really want to take it on, especially if I have Gravity up to handle the Bronzong. Next, I have Mega Lopunny. High Jump Kick, return Healing Wish and Drain Punch. So Healing Wish to heal my couple mons I have later on in this team builder, or also heal my Landorus. Drain Punch if I predict Protect on any of the mons. High Jump Kick for a lot more damage, and then return to hit the Tapu Fini harder. The speed will allow me to outspeed Adamant Diggersby if he is Scarfed. I won't outspeed Jolly, but I will outspeed Adamant with this spread. So I'm definitely okay with that. Next I have basically max defensive Skarmory, Stealth Rock Spikes, Roost, Brave Bird. Tapu Fini can defog these away pretty reliably, but if he's defog, I would imagine he's not Calm Mind, so that would be less of a threat if he's not Calm Mind, unless he's Calm Mind plus defog, which I guess he could, but it would be pretty hard for him to both get up a defog and Calm Mind at the same time. Rocky Helmet to obviously get a lot of chip on the Mega Kangaskhan, as he shouldn't be able to do too much to me. I also get chip on like Infernape if I predict him to go for a Scarfed U-turn, or the Diggersby if he goes for like a return. Next Pokemon I have is Max HP Alolan Muck with the Iapapa Berry, Recycle, Gunshot, Knockoff Pursuit set. Gunshot will be doing a lot of damage. I don't believe I kill Finny. I kill if he's not HP invested, but if he's like max HP and a lot of speed, I don't believe I kill, but I do like over 80%, which is definitely enough. It'll be in the range of where Knockoff plus Gunshot should kill. Dual Stab basically hits everything on his team. Nothing resists it. Correct. Yeah, nothing resists. And Pursuit was like the last move I debated Ice Punch to maybe hit like the Diggersby a little bit harder, but I figured as Pursuit if the off can't, I'm able to revenge kill something and they want to save it later on in the match. I will be able to kill. Next Pokemon I have is Max Speed Azelf. I have Max Speed because Sneasel's base 115 on his team, so I would at least speed tie that and kill with a Fire Blast. Psychic Z-Psychics hits his team really hard except for the Sneasel and Bronzong, and I hit both of those with Fire Blast. He could be Heat-Proof Bronzong, but with me having a Landorus, I would highly doubt that he would be Heat-Proof. And Substitute is there if the Kangaskhan has Sucker Punch, that I will be able to get behind a sub before he goes for it, and then when he goes for a second Sucker Punch, he'll break my sub with the first hit and not kill me with the second hit, and then I'll fire off with a huge Psychium Z. And the last Pokemon I have is Raichu, Expert Belt, Surf, Volt Switch, Nasty Plot, and Thunderbolt. Surf plus Electric coverage hits a lot of things except for Shaman pretty hard. And it also allows me to kind of set up against Tapu Fini. If he starts to call mine, I can at least Nasty Plot. I can live a +1 hit, and I'll do a lot of damage in return with a +2 Expert Belt Thunderbolt. I don't believe I kill, but I mean, I'll put it in range to where I can easily revenge kill with all three of my fast sweepers, I guess you could call them. So that's my team. Let's get right into the game. All right, here we are for the match versus Adam. And right before we got to this point in the battle, I realized that my Raichu set was illegal, so I can't have Nasty Plot plus Surf on the same set, which is really unfortunate, which means I can't hit the Nidoqueen as hard because Hidden Power Ice wouldn't really be doing enough damage, and plus I'd be doing a lot more damage to Infernape with Surf than Thunderbolt if I had a Nasty Plot up, so that was pretty unfortunate there. So I ended up going for a set of Single Beam plus Toxic that hit the Shaman a little bit harder, and I guess it would kill the Sneasel, but I just felt like that set was just not as good, but I also didn't want to make Adam wait too long when we decided to agree to play, so it was my fault for not checking the legality of my Raichu set, but that's okay. I'm a little bit more scared of Tapu Fini at this point, and Kangaskhan is also a little bit of an issue if he's like a bulky Wish set that my Raichu can't get past. If I'm not at +2, he'd be able to take some hits pretty easily. But at least I do have Toxic to hit the Kangaskhan and to hit the Shaman if the Misty Train isn't up. So anyways, looking at his team right now, he doesn't have Bronzong. So Landorus looks even better just clicking Earth Powers versus his team, and the Sludge Wave for Shaman and the Tapu Fini. Alolan Muck looks pretty nice besides the Diggersby in this matchup, but I also realized turn 1, you probably saw it in the, maybe you saw it in the team builder, that I didn't have Gluttony on my Alolan Muck set. I had Poison Touch, which isn't that great, especially with the Tapu Fini having a Misty Train that I'm probably not going to get poisoned too much anyway. So I definitely wanted Gluttony on that set, and Infernape's a huge issue right now because I expected he's Choice Scarfed because I don't think he's Choice Scarfed Diggersby. He's probably Choice Banded. So therefore I would think he's Choice Scarf Infernape to outspeed a lot of things in my team, like the Mega Lopunny, which would be somewhat problematic anyway. Shaman can take on Mega Lopunny, but Infernape being Scarfed also takes on Mega Lopunny. And my Muck takes on Scarfed Infernape pretty well. It does a little bit over 50% with like Flare Blitz or Close Combat, and then I'd activate my Berry and get up to like 90 to 100, close to 100%. And the Infernape can't really stay on my muck because I could just kill with a poison jab or a gunk shot if he stayed in and got off another 50% damage. So not having the berry on my muck was pretty bad, but I already like started the battle, so I don't like say in the middle of the game or even like before we even make a move. I'm not the type of person to like, oh, I messed up something, let me change it. It's kind of too late at that point. I just have to roll with it. So no berry on my muck is going to be pretty unfortunate. I'm going to have to basically sack something every time to this Infernape. Get in my muck, hope is at like pretty high health or at least high enough health that I can take a Flare Blitz and then kill him, return with Gunk Shot. So in this game, I'm going to leave my Raichu just because I want to scout out his team. I'm not too sold on this Raichu set. Actually, I'm kind of sad that I wasn't able to get the set that I wanted and that I don't have my berry on my muck. And he does leave with the Infernape. So he could be a lead Stealth Rock set with Focus Sash, and then I can get a lot of damage off with Surf from my Raichu. But more than likely, he's going to be a Choice Scarfed, and there's really no reason for him to not click Flare Blitz, because even if I do bring in my muck, he at least burns my berries, so on the following turn, he could just continuously Flare Blitz, and he would be damaging himself. He could get a burn, though, which would really stink. Or he could get a crit, or he could just switch out, and then I just had to activate my berry, and he could bring in his Diggersby and have all the momentum there. So not switching into muck here is the play for sure. I just have to hope that he's not Scarfed, or if he is Scarfed, he goes for the U-turn, or if he does go for the Flare Blitz and kills me, that I do get the static. So I'm going to leave with my Raichu, and he does go for the Flare Blitz. He crits, does not make a difference. He didn't know that, but does not get the burn. So that's pretty unfortunate. I have to bring in my muck here because it's really the only thing. I mean, Azelf takes a Choice Scarf hit, but it's going to do like over 80%. Landorus takes it better, but still doesn't really want to take it this early on in the match, and he's not going to leave his Infernape in on my Landorus anyway. Though Landorus probably would have been a fairly safe place. He doesn't have the great switch-ins, the Earth Power plus Sludge Wave. But I want to save that towards the end game. If I can use my muck to take out this Infernape and still keep my Landers at 100% health, I will definitely take that. So I bring in my muck. He doesn't have a Gunk Shot switch-in besides the Diggersby. So I'm going to go for the knockoff here. If he stays in and goes for the Flare Blitz, he will kill my muck in 2 hits, but at least I can get rid of his Choice Scarf, and at least my Azelf will add speed, which is nice. Or if he goes into the Diggersby, I'll be able to remove the Choice Band or the Life Orb, so that way my Skarmory can come in and take 2 wild charges. So he is going to switch out and go into Top Affinity, which is pretty bold, but I guess he expected me to not go for the Poison move there because of Diggersby, and I removed the leftovers, which is fine. I don't do much damage at all, so it kind of looks like, based on this damage, that he's max HP, max defense. So hopefully later on, the Azelf or my Landers can do some damage to this non-special defense invested Finny. This point I go for the Gunk Shot, and he switches into Diggersby, so good plays by him. I get the Diggersby weakened, which I'm definitely okay with. I do a lot of damage. At this point, if I had my berry, I probably would have stayed in here because I don't think there's any chance he goes for the Earthquake. And I should be able to take a hit, unless if he's Choice Banded. But I need this muck throughout this match. So even though I think Skarmory's like a super obvious switch-in, he could go for a Wild Charge and 2-hit KO me, but at least I'll be able to get some damage with Wild Charge, plus a Life Orb damage, if he is Life Orb. And if he's not, I could just bring in my Landorus and basically get a kill at that point if he's Choice Banded. So I'm going to switch my Skarmory and hope he doesn't go for the Wild Charge, as he actually goes for the return. So I'm definitely okay with this exchange. He shows Rocky Helmet damage and Life Orb damage. So at this point, I do expect him to go for the Wild Charge. So after the Rocky Helmet, Life Orb, and Recoil, he should die to this hit. So hopefully I live and I can get a Roost off. And as we see, here he goes for the Wild Charge, and I do barely live, which is great for me. And he is able to kill himself off, and I'm able to Roost up and get to somewhat of a decent amount of HP to take on the Kangaskhan, which is great. But the problem is he has his Infernape. And again, because I don't have my berry activated on my muck, I really don't have a switch-in into Flare Blitz on my team. So unfortunately, I have to let the Skarmory go down and just had to deal with the wrath of Mega Kangaskhan potentially later on this match. So I'm going to stay in and go for the Brave Bird, maybe over predict, or probably I just go for the rocks, but he doesn't. He has no need to over predict. He goes for the Blair Blitz, kills me, takes a lot of recoil at least, so he probably dies to Flare Blitz recoil maybe after like going and killing off an Azelf or a Landorus or a Mega Lopunny. The recoil damage from Blair Blitz probably kills the Infernape, but I don't want to sacrifice 3 things to this mon. So again, I bring in a Muck, because now he definitely doesn't have a switching into Gunk Shot, unless if I miss, of course. So he goes into Oricorio. I can get a big damage off, but actually I do miss. And that's pretty bad for me. I can't scout for what type of set this Oricorio is, though it shouldn't really be like that threatening. But unfortunately I do miss, so I have to play around that, and I'm going to just go for the knockoff and take off whatever item he has. And he goes for Revelation Dance, and that shows that he's not special attack invested, and his crit shows that he has a decent amount of HP, probably max HP. He could be like max HP, max speed, or he could be actually no, so like he wouldn't be max defensive based on this spread. This was like a pretty low roll from a max HP set with no defense. So he could be max HP, max defensive, I suppose. Yeah, he could be, and I got a high roll there. Either way, but he does get a little bit of Chiff on me, which is pretty unfortunate, because as we see on the following turn here, I'm going to just go for the kill, and he goes for the Tailwind, and I kill with a Gunk Shot. Now, if I did have the berry, I probably would have recycled on this turn, predicting him to just go for a Revelation Dance and get me down to a reasonable range. That way something can revenge kill me. But at this point, he also didn't know that I didn't have the berry, so there was a chance he just roosted and wanted to make sure I was only at 75%, so that way I wouldn't activate my berry and be at a higher HP than what I'm currently at right now. But if I hit the Gunk Shot originally, I felt like I would have had the play to where he would Tailwind, and then I would kill with a knockoff, and then I'd be at 100%. Or he goes for the Revelation Dance, and then I kill him with a knockoff, and then I'll be at 75%, but no Tailwinds up. So I had a little bit a better of a situation if I hit that Gunk Shot than currently right now. So it's unfortunate I wasn't able to burn any Tailwind moves for going for a Recycle here. And if I did have the berry and I would have gone for a Cycle as he Tailwinded, then I would have been able to somewhat play that around, like continuously Recycle, or go for moves that wouldn't kill the Oricorio, but I wasn't able to put myself in that position. So now Mega Kangaskhan has Tailwind up for 3 turns, and it's in on my Muck. So that's going to be pretty problematic. I'm going to go for the Gunk Shot, which will just hit it as hard as possible, and he goes for the Power Up Punch. So that's going to be a ton of damage right there. He actually barely misses me from going and activating my berry. Not that I have one, obviously. Fortunately, I do get a Poison with my Gunk Shot, and I hit, which is great. If I didn't hit, I probably lost the game at that point. But even if I had my berry and I was at 100%, he kills me with +2 return at this point, because I don't have a Skarmory to take on this Mega Kangaskhan. So I have to let him kill me, and then I'm going to go into my Mega Lopunny as he kills me off with a return. If he had Drain Punch probably wasn't the play, just because he wouldn't kill me with 1 hit. And if I had the berry, I would go and recover enough HP to where I lived the hit, and Gunk Shot would have probably put him in range to where Poison might have been able to kill him. I'm not sure. But that wasn't the play regardless, because he also would have burned another Tailwind turn, and then I would have revenge killed a lot easier with Mega Lopunny. Because you saw my team preview, I don't have Fake Out. I do go into Mega Lopunny just because I die with anything else my team. Azelf dies and Landorus dies, and they're more important than Mega Lopunny at this point. And there could be a chance where I scare him off into that I have Fake Out, and he might want to save this Kangaskhan for later, though there's really no point in him saving it for later unless he gets a Tailwind up with something else later, but I don't think he has anything that has Tailwind at this point. So I don't go for the Fake Out, and he does go for a Drain Punch actually, and recovers a lot of HP, which is pretty unfortunate at that point. Maybe if I went into Azelf there, he would have been forced to go for return and not recover that much HP, and then I could have revenge killed with Mega Lopunny. But it really didn't make that much of a difference what I saved if I let the Azelf die or let the Mega Lopunny die. The only way for me to win this game is to get a Rock Polish up with my Landers. So I have to play around and try to get that situation to happen. So I go into my Azelf, and he hasn't shown what his last move is, and it could be Sucker Punch. So I'm going to go for the substitute right here, predicting that, because otherwise I can kill him with a Psychic move at this range. So I go for the substitute, and the Sucker Punch animation does not go off. He goes for return and does a lot of damage there at +2. But now I predict that he doesn't have the Sucker Punch, so I could go for the Psychic and kill. I didn't have to burn my Z move. Really doesn't make a difference I burned it or not, because he is going to go into Azelf, or Infernape and kill me with a Flare Blitz. Again, because I have nothing for it. And this is also pretty bad, because it puts him in the Blaze range. So there's a chance where he kills me with Infernape on my Landers. I don't even have a chance to set up a Rock Polish. But at this point, I don't even need a Rock Polish unless if he's like Scarfed Shaman. But there is really no point for me to not go for the Rock Polish anyway here, because I will add speed unless if like, no, even if he had like Mach Punch or Vacuum Wave, switched it out and brought it back in, he wouldn't be able to kill me. So there's no point in me to not Rock Polish on his turn. And actually, he is not a Blaze variant of Infernape. I guess he was the Iron Fist. So I am able to live the Slayer Blitz and get a Rock Polish up. So I do have a chance to win this game. Because I can go for the Earth Power and kill the Infernape right here. And then if I get a crit on the Shaman, I can win with Sludge Wave. And then because I think he's a physically defensive Finny, if I get like a higher roll, I have like a 25% chance to kill with Sludge Wave. So that's what I'm banking on right now. So I go for the Sludge Wave and don't kill the Shaman, and then he's going to kill me off with a Seed Flare, but he actually goes for the Tailwind, which I think this was definitely a misplay on Adam's part. Maybe he forgot that I had the Rock Polish up, but I outspeed everything on his team. His Tailwind only gives you +2 speed, and I have +2 speed myself, so I outspeed everything. So this was definitely a misplay on his part, and I am able to kill this Shaman off with a Sludge Wave. So now, all of a sudden, I do have a chance to win. If I can get a higher roll, or obviously crit with my Landers on this Finny, then I win this game. Moonblast kills even at this point, so I'm banking on that, and I Sludge Wave, and I don't do nearly enough. He's like he has to be like a mixed defensive set, and I just got a pretty low roll earlier on in the game with Muck on this top of Finny, because he's mixed defensive, and there is really no chance for me to knock him out unless I got a crit. So unfortunately, I lose this game, 1-0 again, so another close differential game, which I'm okay with. Like, I've lost 3 games, but I believe my differential is still 0, so I'm definitely okay with that. I just have to get wins. It doesn't even matter if they're like big differential wins. As long as I get wins, then I should be pretty fine to make playoffs. But good game to Adam. Pretty unfortunate that just the prep into this game was not up to par. Like, I should have noticed some of these mistakes that I had on my team right before the game, but I did not, and that was definitely on me there. So hopefully we can bounce back against Trev, but he has Tapu Lele, so I'm probably going to lose that game anyway. So hopefully we don't go 2-4, but it looks pretty likely. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like if you like the comment that you saw, and subscribe would be pretty cool. But until next time, later.